I'm joined by UMass Boston softball coach Natalia Ardagna after the Beacons' Week 1 opening split against Castleton. Coach, how did it feel to get those first two games under your belt, and what do you feel about your team after coming away with a split against Castleton?
I am like blown away. I thought they played awesome. The energy was great. They were positive. I mean, the second game didn't turn out the way that we wanted, but I think we were working some things out. So I'm not super concerned with it. I'm more impressed with the way that they kind of fought back in game 1, and even in game 2. We were down, I think 5-0 in the first inning. It didn't seem like the game was over. They still played. They were making good contact. The defense was pretty clean. I'm very proud of the way they played.
Most of your hitters hadn't had an at-bat against opposing competition in 2 years, and yet everybody who got an at-bat had a hit. How great is it to see that? Obviously, some players want to get some more hits, but everybody getting at least that first hit under their belt on day number 1.
It's awesome. I mean, I have to keep reminding myself, and the coaches have to keep reminding themselves that the sophomores actually haven't had an at-bat, in collegiate softball. So, I was super pumped for one of our freshmen to get her first collegiate hit. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. First at bat, first collegiate hit. But then there were like 5 other people that also had the same experience that I have to keep reminding myself, like, this is the first time for a lot of people.
Pitching wise, you used 3 different pitchers. All of them had at least one really solid performance on the day. You've got 5 pitchers. How do you kind of have to use your pitching staff to your advantage in these conference doubleheaders?
I think the great thing about our pitching staff is that they operate as a staff. They don't really operate individually. They're not, super concerned with how many innings they throw. They're more about, having quality innings and quality outings to make sure that they can do the best to support the team. So it's really refreshing to see pitchers, kind of support each other and encourage each other, because I think that enables us to have a little bit more freedom to manipulate, the pitching rotation.
I want to talk specifically about that comeback in game number 1 against Castleton. You're down 4-2 heading into the 6th inning. This is a team that in previous years we were able to come back against with veteran squads. What did it mean to chip away in the 6th and then walk off in the 7th with such a young squad where, yeah, some of your upperclassmen had key hits, but even some of your freshmen and sophomores coming away making positive contributions in that walk-off victory?
It was great. I mean, it was really great motivation for them to kind of, they anticipated what the vibe and what the energy was going to be like, during a competitive game. And for us to come out on top, I think was really great for them to be able to experience that. I mean, that's going to give us, an advantage going into, closer games in the future. It was great to see them. They never really looked like they were going to give up. And we talked about, the scouting report, that Castleton puts up runs every single game. They're going to hit, they're going to put runs on the board. And we just have to make sure that we match that. So, and we did that in the first game.
First 2 road trips of the season coming up this week. You head to WestCon, who's a little bit below their normal standards in the conference, and then a Plymouth State team that's right back up there towards the top like they've been. What's the big focus this week and as you head on the road for the first time with this group?
I think the big focus is trying to mentally prepare ourselves for, an extensive bus ride and just the whole process, and making sure that we're doing the things that we need to do to be checked in and taking care of our bodies and stuff like that. I think that's the first part. The second part is just to kind of take it inning by inning. I mean, that is kind of our whole motto this season. And Western Connecticut, even though their record isn't great right now, I mean, they're always really difficult to play because they generate a ton of runs. So, regardless of how great your pitching staff is, you can always expect that Western Connecticut's going to explode at some point with a bunch of runs. So, we're trying to prepare for that and make sure that, I think this past weekend was good preparation for going into Western Connecticut. And Plymouth is always strong. I mean, we always have a really competitive game against them. I can't imagine that anything would be different this year.
Coach, finally, I want to talk about 2 of your top performers offensively. Kelly Danahy, who had a tremendous freshman year, was one of the top hitters in the conference, struggled as a sophomore. Now she's back as a senior. And Britney Perkett, who didn't get a ton of at-bats as a freshman, and now both finishing with 4 hits, both really creating some chaos on the base pass. What did it mean that those 2 were able to get off to strong starts for you guys?
I was so happy for them. I thought it was great, for Kelly to have such a solid outing. She had been kind of waiting for this outing for, 2 years, try to get some redemption after her, sophomore year. And, Kelly kind of is a little bit more comfortable in her role, offensively and defensively. And with her being a captain, I think this is really, going to be a great year to see what she can, what kind of numbers she can put up. And Britney did an unbelievable job stepping up. I mean, she really embraced the role of, being put into center field. She has great communication with the corner outfielders, and offensively, we just told her, we just need you to get on base. And, I think once anybody on our team gets on base, it's a definite threat, and we want to continue to make it difficult for defenses to get us out.